Hi, my name's Annalise, and I've decided to do mine on abortion. Kathleen Bernard overall did well on her interview slash speech. She articulated her points clearly and was easy to understand throughout the entire video. She maintained a good volume, but her tone remained the same throughout. She did not show much expression in her tone, making it sound monotone and less sincere. Kathleen had a good semantics that met expectations, but her syntax was lacking. Some of her answers were simple or incomplete and did not fully convey her points. Her nonverbal communication was also lacking. She made facial expressions and moved her head around a lot, but it seemed like she was used to talking with her hands and was told not to, so she compensated with head movements. Lastly, for engagement, she did a good job responding to the interviewer. She answered the questions fully and was polite throughout the whole video. Overall, her speech itself was well constructed, but her execution was lacking. Throughout the speech, Anaya, no, Anaya Presley used some sophisticated words, but articulated them perfectly. She did not stumble or stutter on any of them. Her tone was good, with her taking appropriate pauses throughout her speech to convey the importance of what she was said. Anaya's semantics were above expectations. The vocabulary she used was perfect, engaged the audience to listen to her. The flow or syntax was also really good. Her pauses were well thought out and skillfully placed. She did not use much nonverbal language, but it felt appropriate for her setting in Congress. The engagement was also hard to speak on because she was giving a speech in front of Congress and did not really engage with anyone. But she was polite at the beginning and end of her speech. She used a lot of complex sentences, only using attempts to get her point across. Overall, she had a compelling argument that made me feel like she really cared about giving women the right to abortion care. Dr. Anthony Letevo gave an amazing speech and answered questions at the end perfectly. He articulated well throughout the whole speech with the proper tone and volume accompanied his points. His semantics were great, vividly explaining how late-stage abortions are performed. With his nonverbal cues and descriptive language, you could really imagine pulling a leg or crushing a skull. The syntax was also good, with well-placed breaks and pauses in his speech. His engagement at the end during the questioning session was excellent. He answered the questions properly and thoroughly. Overall, his speech was really heart-wrenching and made you feel something. Throughout his speech, Jake Warner did a great job getting his points across. He stayed calm under pressure and articulated well. He maintained a cool, happy tone throughout his speech. He did a good job describing his points, earning him a meets expectations for semantics. The only part where he struggled was the syntax. He just did not flow as nicely as it could have. His nonverbal cues were appropriate for the setting, used some minor hand gestures throughout his speech. I think he would receive an above expectations in engagement because the interviewers were rude at times, but Jake stayed calm, polite throughout the video. Overall, he gave a good speech, but was lacking in material as it felt like he was saying the same thing over and over and not sharing new information. Both sides tried to use emotion to get their point across. Dr. Anthony Levitino, by explaining the late-term abortion, and Ayanna Presley by talking about women not having the right to an abortion and what that can mean for women. Looking at the grading rubric, I would say that pro-life wins, but emotionally, I think pro-choice wins because this first speech played more on my emotions than all the other ones. Controversially, I'm gonna not pick a side because both sides are too extreme. According to the article, pro-choice and pro-life are not enough talks about this exact same thing and how most people are in the middle and how choosing something in the middle is the best option. I can feel like most people are strong pro-choice or strongly believe in pro-life, but it's mostly due to the few extreme people that are on the news sharing their views.